All right, welcome to another episode of Founders Club. Excited to be sitting here with Hans Enriquez today. He is the founder of MedX Holdings, a publicly traded company, and Lazy Days Coffee. And excited to have you on the show today, Hans. Welcome to Founders Club.
Thank you. Appreciate for having me on, man.
Absolutely. And for anybody that has questions, just drop them in the chat. Also, make sure you like and subscribe, share this with a friend, and let's jump right in. So, the reason I wanted to have you on, Hans, is because I see you doing some really cool stuff in the alternative lifestyle space in cannabis and in retail, and then bolting on the real estate piece, which I think is really exciting and an interesting business model. So, why don't we just start with kind of what drew you to the cannabis space and kind of how you found your way into what you're doing now?
Well, the way I found myself into the cannabis space or counterculture space is, always been a, hippie at heart, right? So, but I did finish, I finished business school at Texas State and worked at a couple of smoke shops when I was in college. And, I had my background in retail, which was, I worked at like Banana Republic and Nike and just at the mall in general. So I opened up my first smoke shop and I just wanted to be a nicer, cleaner, better mousetrap. And so I started the brand there. And we've all dabbled in extracurricular activities to earn money, at some point. So I was very well, versed in cannabis and couldn't sell cannabis legally at that point. So I started my first, business, and that was the Lazy Days Smoke Shop, or Lazy Days Counterculture. That was the name of it. And the brand has evolved over the past 20 years. I started it, right out of college in 2004. And it evolved as a counterculture store. It necessarily wasn't always a smoke shop. We've experimented with with the skate shop in there, tattoo parlors, collectibles, glass gallery, glass blowing studios, full on apparel. Like, the store was just an awesome counterculture store. But we came from like the glass background, and as that industry changed, there was a lot of import, products coming in, into the states, and we weren't selling as much as we used to online. Had to adapt and evolve, and so as Texas began introducing CBD, uh, our conversations with our customers went from "Do you want to buy a glass pipe?" to kind of explaining what the endocannabinoid system was, and so now we needed something for them to do while they were hanging out waiting for their turn to purchase. So introduced the coffee shop. We found some infused K cups out of Colorado, and then we broke a bunch of cured machines. And then we said, well, that's what we got to do. And little by little, we've evolved into what we are today is a a modern version of the Amsterdam-style coffee shop, right? And so we offer not only coffee but infused and non-infused beverages, as well as cannabis or hemp, depending on what the state you're in. And we're focusing on three things: is good coffee, good weed, good people, right? And we've turned that into a franchise model. So we are the franchisors, and so part of finding those locations involves the real estate, and finding locations for our type of businesses, cannabis or consumption related. um, the real estate can be a challenge. So that's where kind of where we've learned by necessity. And as the franchisor, we'd like to start moving into owning real estate, and as a public company that adds to our as to our value, and able to leverage real estate.
Nice. And so, what's the business model now? Is it mainly franchising the coffee shops?
So the business model, well, the MedX Holdings, it's going to earn its revenues from multiple parts, but it comes from the basically the ecosystem of the franchise model, right? So one is there is the franchise fees, there's the ongoing royalties, there's the distribution. As we continue to grow, we'll be, there'll be the brand, the licensing aspect of the brand. And then there's the tech part of it, right? And the tech part of it has to do with the payment processing and the POS system. And the plug and play, right? And because we remain in high risk and we still haven't, seen safe banking, take place, there's still a lot of limitations and challenges. So we walk them through that. So there's quite a few things, and as we add to the real estate, I mean, then there's that portion of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully that answers.
So yeah, for sure. And so like when it comes to the real estate side of things, well, let's start with like I'm sure there's a lot of red tape in this space in terms of where it's allowed, where it's not allowed, what's not allowed. So how do you guys approach all of that when you're looking to secure a location and get some real estate?
Well, we using our SOPs, I get at this point, right? I mean, we kind of have a criteria, right? I mean, first and foremost, we want to make sure that there's proximity, issues. So it could be anywhere from 300 to 1,000 feet from a school, or proximity to another dispensary. Then does that building particularly allow that particular use? Is it zoned correctly? Is there a change of use required from retail to restaurant? Is it a second gen location? Is it standalone? Then all the additional criteria comes in. I mean, is it accessible? Is it visible? What's the traffic count? What's the demographic in the area? Is there a sign? Is it on the right hand, left hand? Is there a turning lane? Is there parking? And then do the numbers work? And so you get to that, and then what's going to be the startup cost, right? And so all that goes into play when we're looking for a location.
Okay, cool. And how are you monetizing as the franchisor?
So monetizing is through the ongoing royalties, right? So we monitor, there's the initial upfront franchise fee, and most of that's reinvested into just getting the location or that particular franchisee going. It's reinvested into the infrastructure and the support. Then there's ongoing royalties. So we have a 5% royalty that covers the pretty much the overhead and more for the franchising entity. And then there's the distribution part of it. So we do have some close relationships where that we're either earning some rebates that we can reinvest into the company, and that's for the benefit of the franchisees. And then on the flower side of things, where that's quality is utmost, is critical. So on the flower side of things, we curate and we work with certain suppliers, cultivators, and making sure that we're passing on those discounts. And then if we are distributing any of that flower, we monetize through that. There's so many great farmers and cultivators, but not everybody grows the same thing or grows everything quality. So in order to provide them some variety, we have a couple of approved vendor suppliers. And then we also monetize through offering them the payment process and making sure that it's all compliant, and they're able to get through the banking challenges, and that they can take people's money and they can get as much of it back and as quickly as possible.
Yeah. I bet payment processing is not easy on that space.
No,
So what areas are you focusing on right now? Is there certain states that you're kind of obviously there's states that are a lot more friendly towards that's marijuana stuff versus states that are probably not at all friendly. How do you guys approach that?
Well, we're really focusing on Texas at the moment. I mean, if you just kind of look at what Texas can offer and the opportunity is there, right? I mean, it's like the 11th biggest economy in the world, right? So we got some major metropolitan areas that we'd love to, just put our brand presence and just crush it there. But then we have to also focus on the states that actually have consumption lounge licenses, right? So New Mexico is one of them. Nevada, has that. California as well. But, California and Nevada are going to be, California in particular, very difficult market, but I think we're very niche. So we're not necessarily, competing with, all the dispensaries. I mean, there's been some lounges out there too. So I think also figuring out the business model that works, right? And so, but focusing on Texas and the states that allow it, and just depending on what their rules and regulations are. There are barriers to entry, and they're all different.
Nice. And then what about like how are you guys setting these up? Is it more dispensary? Is it more coffee shop? Is it 50-50? Like how are you guys setting these locations up?
It's it's set up more coffee shop. It does not feel a dispensary. As a matter of fact, we've reduced the square footage of the dispensary area because it's such a social atmosphere. It is very like a coffee shop. So
Mm.
um, your typical order is, someone walks in and, could I get a lazy love latte and a fruity pebbles matcha, and let me get a pre-roll, some blue dream, and a eighth of that, mountain marshmallow or something. And then that's the trend thing. Would you like that infused? No. Can I get some, THC in mine? Yeah, go for it. And then there's the transaction, right? So, and then the atmosphere is the same as a coffee shop. Everyone's they're sitting down on their laptops, or maybe playing chess, or someone's playing music. It's just very, very coffee shop like. And
Okay.
so we've centralized the whole transaction there, at the register at the bar. We also offer bong rentals. So like the overall company makes money off as a franchisor, right? The stores make money off of coffee and weed, right? And that's like probably a 60-40 split. Having the based on the higher ticket of cannabis, right? Uh, but yeah, I mean, it's very coffee. It's very Amsterdam style coffee shop. Like, I mean, what you would expect at a boutique coffee shop,
Yeah.
it's the same thing at our place.
So
Yeah.
coffee shop style vibe. Um, Tell me about the products that are being sold. Is it just like, let me get a weed latte, or like what are you guys selling in there?
Yeah, so like we have all of our specialty drinks, right? All of our drinks come non-infused, and if you'd like to, we can infuse them. They start with 5 to 10 milligrams. We offer THC, CBD, THCV, mushroom infusions. So you could get chaga, reishi, uh, one of the cordyceps. You can get a chagachino, which is a pre-powdered mix. It's chaga with cinnamon and monk fruit and cacao. Tastes like a cinnamon toast crunch latte. Um, some of our best drinks are like a lazy love lattes, a hazelnut and honey. One of our other best drinks, fruity pebbles matcha. Um, we have all of our teas, so we're very heavy. We got a blue dream, a mellow yellow, a token potion. All these are all of our specialty drinks and recipes. Again, you can get them all non-infused, right? But you can infuse all of them. We also have kava, kratom. We have offered some, amanita as well in the past. So just depending on legalities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then you got your edibles, right? You've got and then we've got all of your canned beverages as well, all your THC drinks now. So those range from anywhere from 5 to 15. So you got all your fridge drinks. Um, then you can buy deli style flour, so we've got all of our jars behind you. We've got all our pre rolls. They just outlawed vapes in Texas, so we're no longer offering that in Texas, but in New Mexico we do. So all your vape products. Then we've got all of our concentrates too, so you can also buy your concentrates, rosins, extracts. You can rent a Puffco, you can rent a student glass, you can rent a bong. We'll set you up a little tray, little little. Our weed tray's got weed in it. Little weed tray and grinder and papers and bong and that way you can sit there and have a sesh and just enjoy your day. So it's kind of
So so people are smoking in there as well.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. Wow. So have a latte and a joint.
yep. Every day.
That's cool. All right. And so what is the downside of this business? Is it mainly the regulations and stuff that you have to worry about, or how do you approach thinking about that?
Um, I don't. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say there's a downside. I just say that there's just this is if you want to for like let's just put this on the channel like level of challenges, right? Start a business, it's already hard, right? Start a regulated business, it's pretty fucking hard. Like start a business that the regulations change every time you go to the bathroom. That's how difficult it is, right? And not only
Yeah.
that, you've got every barrier you can think of, right? And even to the level of criminality still, right? And so that's the challenge now. Now, when it succeeds, well, then there's the upside that's over here, right? So, downside is it just takes. This has got to be the longest. The downside is I know more about politics than I want to know about. I've
Yeah, I
learned
bet.
that, right? That's probably it's taking longer. But I think when the efficient cannabis operators rise to the top, those will be the ones that succeed, right?
Yeah. And how are these being received in the community, the ones that are open? How many do you guys have now?
We have 5 operating, and then we just sold. We just awarded 6 additional franchisees. So that'll be one in Houston, a 3-pack in Maryland, plus another one in Maryland. It should be opening hopefully later this year, and one in San Marcos, Texas, as well. So yeah, so we'll have 11, 5 open, 11 total, and then hoping to get
Nice.
that one in
And the
Vegas.
ones that are open, how are they being received in the community? Like, how
Oh
are they
yeah,
doing?
how are they big? With open arms. Yeah, we offer something special. I think everybody's looking for a safe place where they don't have to go get drunk, and or be around other there's a shift. I mean, I think there's a huge shift, right? One from people looking at alternatives. They're also working. They've changed their way of life from COVID to working from home to venturing out to being able to work remotely, right, from anywhere. I'm kind of the same way. So it caters to everybody. It caters to the creatives. It absolutely caters to the community, right? Like, it replaces it's replaced a lot of people's. I mean, hate to say it, drug dealer, right? I mean, they, you know, there's 2 circles that overlap. There's cannabis consumption and coffee consumption, and they overlap, and there's this perfect middle that they consume the exact same way. They want to go to the most closest, convenient, cost-effective coffee shop or person who can get them some good weed, right? And they consume the same way. If they can go to a place where they feel safe, and that's what it lends itself to, and it's a space for the community to use. So there's art markets and food markets and music and events and you know uh, meetups and poetry groups, and it I've already got it out of the way, and it just does its thing. It grows very organically, and the community welcomes it because I think there's just a shift, and we're normalizing it, oh, it's just a fucking coffee shop, right? Like it's it provides value to the community, safe space.
Yeah. And I'm guessing you have to be what, 18 to go inside, or how does that work?
21 and up.
21 and up. Okay, cool. And then what do you guys sell more of, the coffee or the marijuana?
Like I'd say probably like I said, 60-40 split, and then even like revenues based on that, cannabis. Like, I mean, there's not a $80 coffee, right? I mean, unless, so
Right.
yes. So like as far as like revenues, 60-40, I'd say even both, like everybody's buying a joint with their coffee or they're infusing it with something. So the add-ons, the upsells, they start to add up.
So it's like regular coffee prices, and then do you just add a shot or add a squirt or whatever it is?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So I mean, like we have it down to a formula. Like we have our infusions formulated, specifically for behind the bar, so that each dose or pump is 5 milligrams, and so that we can track inventory. But yeah, everything is it's an amazing tasting coffee, awesome latte, whatever you like. And then, would you like that infused? And no, not today, sir, but I'll take a joint with that.
And what does it cost? What's the upcharge on the infusion on the coffee?
They started about $2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So,
That's
I mean, like, let's say you have an $8, 8.50 foofy latte or something, and you get a couple of infusions with it. It's your $12 latte. I've seen some really, really heavily infused lattes, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely, we take normal and competitive coffee drink prices, and it's all baked in.
Nice. And then what's the long-term vision for what you're doing?
I don't like to say it this way, so I'll disclaimer myself. But if I say it this way, you get it. Just the Starbucks of cannabis, as well
Mhm.
recognized brand recognition and market penetration. Do I want to be Starbucks? No, I don't want to be Starbucks. But they've got 33,000 locations around the globe, so
Yeah.
it's not a bad thing, But yeah, I'd like to see our growth, our brand recognition, similar to Starbucks or Dutch Brothers. We are, we'd like to put together a portfolio of brands. And my job is to run the company as a CEO, build value. So I like to build the company into a portfolio of brands, and as we continue to move forward in the journey of legalization and catalysts, happen. Um, I think it'll position us, to be a leader in the space.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And then do you imagine this going international?
Yeah. We've talked with uh, groups that are already interested in Canada and Mexico and in Spain. It just gets more complex, right? So we'll absolutely entertain it, right? And we just want to make sure we are expanding at the right pace, making the right moves, not overextending, and not compromising the integrity of the brand.
Yeah. And what was the thought behind going public so early?
Oh, because I'm fucking crazy. That's why, right? No, in hindsight, or what was the purpose? So we've been pitching for since like 2017, since like ArcView was around. If you're familiar with that, that's kind of when public, pot stocks or public, any cannabis companies were going public. And so just to answer the first question is, well, to position ourselves, to have the vehicle to provide us an opportunity that's not necessarily available. And if and when we wanted to entertain M&A or exit or a liquidity event, we were set up properly, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I had just been offered to go public, a couple of times, and luckily we didn't take those deals, but I kind of reverse engineered those deals and figured out how that could, how to do that transaction. So I was able to acquire a public company, I guess quote unquote shell at the time, and I rolled up all of my private entities into that. And
Mhm.
now, I operate as a CEO of publicly traded companies, and all the old private entities are the departments, are the arms of the revenue engine, per se. So it's divided into corporate stores, the franchise, the tech, and the cultivation distribution.
Nice.
Yeah, we don't do
Yeah,
any
very
cultivation, but if we were to, or working with the farmers, yeah, we leave the cultivation to the best of the best.
so you take it from there all the way to the end.
Yeah,
From
yeah.
the growers, you kind of distribute, package, all that, or
We do a lot of deli style. So currently we're not, we don't need to do packaging, but we, if needed, depending on the state, for instance, Las Vegas, or that is required. It's all prepackaged. Yeah.
got it. All right, cool. And for those that are interested in participating in one of these, how does the franchise work?
How does the franchise work?
Like
Cool.
to get a franchise, like let's say I'm ready to own my own weed coffee shop. What do I call you and what happens?
So I won't answer the phone. Someone else will. But what they want to do is make sure you're financially qualified, right? I mean, we've talked with many, many, many people. So this is not just your lemonade stand. You are opening a business. We want to make sure that that you've got the experience, you're financially qualified, you understand that the franchise relationship. We go through presentations. You provided the FDD. We go over all the FAQs, discuss the support systems. Uh, and then we do discovery day. We invite you down to the stores to see the ins and outs of the stores. And at that time, you give you the option to make that, or give you the opportunity to make a very intelligent education decision. And, if you choose to move forward, then we award you the rights to the agreed upon territory or units. And then we get to work. We start working for you, and we start doing all the things that we say we do or we need to get done in order if we were opening up our own stores. And hopefully we're cutting that time in half or to a third, if one were to be doing it on their own. And hopefully we're saving them $1 million in mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll bet there's a lot of hurdles if you try to do that on your own.
Oh, yeah,
Okay, and
you
then
pay
what?
for it one way or another. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then what is the upfront? You said it's 5% on the ongoing. What is the upfront to get all set up?
So currently it's set up. It is 50,000 for a single unit, and then 100,000 for 3 units for a 3 pack, and then it's the agreed upon area, and that radius can be 3 to 5 miles, or plus, just depending on where the location's at. Then we're also entertaining development. So, we'd like to see someone who's interested in doing 33 units and go ahead. And so we're not having to, we'd prefer to have someone with a development mindset versus mom and pop. There may be a learning curve, teaching mom and pop. So I think it's easier for us from that end if we're talking to a developer, because we can do all the manager training, and that way they're operating the way they need to versus kind of worrying about the day to day. So we're looking for developers that are interested in three or more, yeah, and the ongoing is the 5% and the 2% to the marketing fund, and we'll make
All
sure
right.
there's.
And then what about any build out, or does the 50K cover the build out as well?
Oh no, absolutely not. No, that's the rights to all of our systems and for all of the team to get to work for you guys.
Yeah. And then how much is the build out
So
generally?
build outs can range from 150 to about 500,000, right?
Okay.
And that's all in, right? At its smallest footprint, it could be 750,000 square feet, maybe 1,500. You're really building out a coffee shop. You could be taking over a second gen coffee shop or deli. So retrofit should keep the startup costs pretty low. If you're doing a full build out, again, we're trying to keep these startup costs low so that these things can be rolled out, right? When we look at certain consumption lounger models, if the build outs are, in the millions of dollars, it's very difficult to get an ROI on that. So
Yeah.
we want to move with speed and make sure these are, rolled out nicely and everywhere, right? Pepper is city. So there's just your coffee shops all over the place.
Nice. Well, very cool, man. For those that want to learn more and reach out, how can they connect with you?
All right. So I'm a real person. So connect me a bunch of different ways. So you can find me on LinkedIn. You can check me out on Twitter's X or whatever at the one and only Hans. You can connect with us for franchise at lazydaysfranchise.com. If there is a store nearby, you can get weed to go and coffee to go very soon at lazydaysshop.com. And for more info on us and the team, and some of the updates for MedX or MedX Holdings, check us out at medxholdings.com.
medxholdings.com. And what's the ticker for those that want to invest?
MEDH, MEDH. You can find us on OTC. We are trading alongside all the MSOs, and so if you're looking at some of these companies that you might be interested in, we're right there with them, and we're going to be the underdog, and we're going to come up and we're going to fuck some people up.
Nice. I love it. Well, Hans, I certainly appreciate you coming on today. Make sure you guys go check out what he's doing at Lazy Days Coffee. Connect with him, invest, pop by the location, see how you feel. shoot us a message afterwards and let us know.
Right,
And
man. I love this stuff, guys. So reach out to me. I love business. I love the Lazy Days brand. And I love talking about this. And so if you have any interest, you just want to shoot the shit, hit me up, man. I'm always open for
nice.
a coffee and a joint.
I love it. Well, right on, Hans. Thanks again. Appreciate your time, man. And as always, make sure you guys like and subscribe, share this with a friend, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, Hans. See ya.
Later, man.